In today's video, I'm going to be taking a break from the normal reactions and going to be doing what you guys in the community have coined as a tank talk, which I find pretty cool, so thank you. And this is where I'm just going to sit and talk and possibly rant about music industry stuff, and more specifically, in this case, music industry happenings, because something recently happened in the news that is a pretty big deal, and I really want to talk about it because there's been a lot of shit flying about this. Now, going forward, it is important to know, and I feel like I need to say that this is all my opinion. I am not representing any band or any other entity that's involved with any of this. I'm just sharing my knowledge and experience from touring for the past 15 years. So hopefully we can start a positive dialogue, shed some light on some of this, and maybe make some people see this in a different perspective. So it's no secret to anybody that lately, Lorna Shore has absolutely been blowing up, man. Especially since the announcement of their new vocalist, Will Ramos. They released the first music video with him, which was To the Hellfire, and already it almost has 5 million views. It's insane. And then the next video they released after that already has over 1 million views. Good things are happening for these guys right now. They just wrapped up a headlining tour, and they actually played one of the biggest, actually, I think it was the biggest headlining show they've ever played to date. And for a band like them that's in the extreme music scene, these are huge accomplishments, man. They are really going to the forefront of the genre right now and really making people take notice. Now, the next tour that they had lined up was a support act for the Chelsea Grin and Carnifex co-bill that was going on in Europe. And if anybody's not familiar with a co-bill, that's pretty much a co-headlining tour. They share equal billing on the tour poster, and they might swap back and forth with who's headlining every night, or one of them may headline every night. But the fact of the matter is, this was Chelsea Grin and Carnifex's tour, and not Lorna Shore's. On October 6th, Carnifex posted an Instagram post with a new tour poster with Lorna Shore not on it anymore. And they announced that Lorna Shore was not a part of that tour, and they got replaced with Body Snatcher. And then the very next day, on October 7th, Chelsea Grin made the exact same announcement. Lorna Shore is no longer on the tour. They have been replaced with another band. And right away, in the comments, lots of people flipped out, and they were curious. They were like, why? What happened? What's going on? Let's be honest here. There were a lot of people that bought tickets to that tour specifically to see Lorna Shore. So understandably, when people found out Lorna Shore wasn't going to be on it anymore, they wanted to know why, but no answers were really given right away. So on the morning of October 11th, I wake up, I turn on my phone, I jump on Instagram and start perusing like I normally do, and I see that Bring Me the Horizon just announced a brand new European headlining tour. It's like, oh, that's pretty cool, and started looking at the lineup, and it's Bring Me the Horizon, A Day to Remember, Poorstacy, and fucking Lorna Shore. And understandably, my gut reaction to seeing that was, holy shit! And if there's anybody watching that doesn't understand why that was my reaction or why this is a big deal, you do not see bands, once again, in the extreme music scene like this, get on major arena tours like this. It's a huge deal, man. And right away, all the support came pouring in from other bands. I saw on Lorna Shore's Instagram, Brand of Sacrifice even said themselves, this is a huge moment for extreme music. This is a breakthrough. You don't often see bands that sound like Lorna Shore getting on tours with bands like Bring Me the Horizon and A Day to Remember, even though those bands do have heavier roots. Now, even though there was a lot of positive support from bands in the music scene, understandably, whenever something like this happens, people with little to no knowledge on anything that's going on get fired up on the internet and start saying really shitty things. And that's going to bring us to the main focus of this talk. How did Lorna Shore get on a tour like this? Why is it so important? And why are all these people that are complaining fucking wrong about it? Right when this tour got announced, I had some friends hitting me up being like, dude, did you see the tour that Lorna Shore got on? And, you know, obviously, yes, I saw it. But then the next questions were, how does a band like them get on a tour like this. Because like I said, Lorna Shore just finished a headlining tour, and on one of those shows played the biggest they had played of their career, and it was about 1,000 people. So now they're going to be on a support tour where they're playing in front of thousands, and in some cases on this tour, over 10,000. The bottom line in this situation is, I don't know the answer. There are quite a few different scenarios that could have played out, and I'll discuss each one, but to me, the most likely thing in this situation is Bring Me the Horizon probably specifically told their management or their agent, we want to get Lorna Shore opening on this. They probably took notice just like everybody else. They probably liked their music, and they wanted to get them as the opener on their headlining tour. Now, there are other situations that could have came into play. This could have been management talking to each other or agents talking to each other and possibly making trade-offs to get their bands on a tour in return for other things and stuff like that. And that happens a lot in the music industry. I've seen it all the time where a manager that manages multiple bands will have a smaller band that they want to get on a big tour, and they tell the management for another band, like, hey, put this act that I represent on your tour, and then in the future, I'll get one of your other acts on this larger artist tour that I also represent. That kind of stuff happens all the time. But the fact that Lorna Shore is officially on this tour is a massive accomplishment. It's a huge win. Metalheads everywhere should be celebrating this because, once again, I know I'm beating this point to death, but a band like this getting on a major arena tour is just unheard of. It's awesome. It's unbelievably awesome. On top of that, it's a super, super smart business decision. I know a lot of people were questioning, like, why would they drop off of a tour with Chelsea Grin and Carnifex, who are similar to them, to do a tour with Bring Me the Horizon? It's because it's opening them up to an entirely new market. I'll give you guys a good example here. Years and years ago, when I first started as a roadie, I worked for a Christian metal band, and they almost exclusively played in mainstream markets. And fans would ask them every now and then, why are you doing mainstream tours when you're a Christian band? Why aren't you playing with other Christian bands and in churches and doing stuff like that? And their perspective on it, in my opinion, was great. They were like, why would we want to play exclusively on Christian tours and in Christian venues and churches and stuff like that to people that already know the message they're going to get from us? Why wouldn't we go play on mainstream tours and maybe reach people that would never listen to our music? That's exactly what's happening here. There are going to be a lot of people every night that are going to see Lorna Shore that may not have ever listened to their music other than seeing them live on this off chance. If I was in this band, it would have been a no-brainer, man, because while they fit similarly with bands like Chelsea Grin and Carnifex and stuff like that, all of those bands have played together a ton. And they have the same scene. They share the same fan bases. You're going to get a lot of the same people coming to all of those shows. So again, why wouldn't you open yourself up to an entire new market of people? It's a smart move. And I guarantee you, if Chelsea Grin or Carnifex was in the same exact position, they would have taken this tour as well. Any band would have. It's a no-brainer. But in typical internet fashion, not everybody saw it that way. And I actually want to address some specific comments that I saw from people just to kind of extrapolate what's going on from my perspective and kind of debunk some of these, because some people were saying some really ridiculous things that just absolutely aren't true. So one of the first comments was from somebody that said the Chelsea Grin Carnifex tour would have been so much better. And to be honest, that's coming from kind of a selfish standpoint. Yeah, it might have been better for you because you wanted to see all of those bands together. But for Lorna Shore, as we've already said, this is huge. This is huge for their career. If you're a fan of this band, you should be beyond stoked that they're getting this opportunity to put their music in front of other people. I saw another person say that this is straight up a cash grab. Like Lorna Shore bailed on the Carnifex Chelsea Grin tour just to make some money. Give you guys a spoiler alert. Lorna Shore is not banking on a tour like this. They're not going to be making tons of money like this being a support band for an arena tour, because as a headliner on an arena tour, there's a lot of overhead involved in that. There's PA rentals and lighting rentals and staging rentals, not to mention the transportation and the crew and all of that stuff. And it's on the headlining band's booking agents to sort out the money for the opening bands. And usually as it goes from top to bottom, each band is going to start making a little less. Now, while I can't have an accurate guess on how much Lorna Shore is going to be making on a guarantee on a show like this, they are not going to be exceeding luxury by any means. This is probably going to cover their travel throughout Europe and maybe a little things on top of that, but this isn't going to be something that they're coming home from with thousands and thousands of dollars in their pocket. This is an exposure tour like we've already covered. And that kind of goes hand in hand with something I've talked about on this channel a lot, and that's the misconception that people have that anytime a band gets signed or they see a band on a big tour, they automatically think that these people are rock stars, that they have tons and tons and tons of money and are living very comfortably. That's not the case. More often than not, that is not the case, man. I just visited Lorna Shore in Nashville at their sound check, and every band on that tour is in a van and trailer with minimal crew guys, if they have any. Being a band at this level is not what people think it is. It's a grind. It's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and a lot of just living below your means to make things work. Now, that's not to take anything away from their success or anything like that. That's just the reality of being in a band. Unless you're at a huge level, you're not making tons and tons and tons of money. And I think that's something that people really need to be reminded of. We see these bands on stage and they have this larger than life persona and stuff like that, and that's great, but they're not exceeding luxury. Like I said, everything that you guys do supports them more than you think. Pre-ordering albums, buying their merch, stuff like that. That really fuels these bands. So to the person that said Lorna Shore is doing a cash grab, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. I saw another comment that said, you guys really said fuck Carnifex for a tour like this? Cool, I guess. Or I think they said congrats, I guess. Here's the thing, man. If you even looked at Lorna Shore's Instagram, you would see that Carnifex actually left them a very nice message congratulating them on the tour. A lot of people aren't thinking about the business end that goes into stuff like this. Lorna Shore didn't one day just tell Carnifex and Chelsea Grin, hey, we're out, sorry, but we're doing another tour. There was a lot of planning that had to go into something like this, and I guarantee you all of these bands and their representatives talked, and they probably told them, hey, we do feel bad that we can't do this tour because we love you guys and we've toured with you guys before, but this is an opportunity we can't pass up. And I guarantee you Chelsea Grin and Carnifex totally understand that, man. There are certain situations that, yes, it sucks. Yes, there are people that bought tickets to this tour already, but this is an opportunity that any band would be stupid not to take, especially, again, in the extreme music scene. Another comment said, Lorna Shore on the way to join the Sellout Club on a lineup like that. Here's a huge fucking problem I have with the metal community, and I am in that community. All the gatekeepers and all the elitists that lose their fucking mind when all of a sudden the band that they like, that they wanted to hold close to them, that they don't want anybody else liking, is starting to get attention. They're terrified of the fact that somebody outside of the metal scene might start liking the band that they like. But if you're really a fan of that band, why the fuck wouldn't you want that, man? You want the bands that you like to be successful. You want the world to hear them. The metal community needs to let go of this gatekeeping elitist mentality and acting like this just belongs to us. Nobody else can listen to this. The mainstream can't have this. Now I get in the metal community, there is a certain sense of we're the outcasts. This music is made for us, and it is special to us, and special to me. It is. I love metal. I've been listening to it forever. But at the same time, I want people to hear this music, man. I want other people outside of the metal community to love and experience the same music that we get to. So to anybody out there that does want to gatekeep these bands for the metal community, the only thing I would say to you is if you love these bands, stop fucking doing that, man. We want people to hear these bands. We want the metal scene to blow up, because at the same time, we get to be like, fuck yeah, there's a metal band of this extreme genre that's making it and making it big. We want that. Now, the last thing I kind of want to talk about is two comments that I'm going to wrap into one thing. And the first thing was somebody that was congratulating the band on the tour, but said, yeah, it's kind of shitty that we already bought tickets to the other tour you were on, and now you're on a different one. I totally understand that. I get it. I would be personally bummed if that also happened to me. But the thing you got to remember, this wasn't a Lorna Shore headlining tour. This was a tour that was co-headlined by Carnifex and Chelsea Grin. Lorna Shore was a support band. So that tour is still going on, and they've already replaced Lorna Shore in the lineup. So I would say, yeah, sure, while it's a bummer you're not going to get to see Lorna Shore on that tour, go to the show. Get your money's worth, man. It's still going to be a killer lineup. And there's no reason that you shouldn't go just because one of the bands you wanted to see isn't going to be there anymore. And another person that I saw basically, again, was like, this is cool and everything, and I'm happy for them. But I'd be more happy if they apologized a little more. Like, it seemed a little just lame that they just said, hey, we're not going to be on the Chelsea Grin Carnifex tour anymore. They didn't say sorry. Dude, are you fucking kidding me? At the end of the day, these bands don't owe any of us a fucking thing, man. Oh, they didn't say sorry enough. What do you want, man? It's a business. These guys are doing what's best for them. I guarantee you they are bummed that they're letting some fans down, but they don't owe you anything. That's a very selfish way of thinking, that you expect them to go out of their way to go over the top and apologize and, I don't know, refund tickets or give you free merch or something like that. If you follow sports, do you see your favorite teams apologizing up and down to you when they trade one of your favorite players? No, because it's a business and they trade somebody for somebody else to make their team better. Now, I understand this is a completely different situation, but that's the quickest analogy that I could think of for that. Bottom line, they don't owe you anything at all. And I think people need to stop treating bands like that. People think that just because they spend their money on a band, that they can do whatever they want. And I've seen this all the time on tour. People think because they purchase a ticket and go to a tour, the band has to jump around in hoops for them and do whatever they want. At the end of the day, like I said, they don't owe you anything. And if you don't like it, then you. To wrap all of this up, I know I got onto kind of a little rant towards the end there, but I just wanted to sit down and give you guys my thoughts as somebody that's worked in the music industry their entire adult life, because I've seen situations happen like this, and I find it extremely unfair when fans and people that have no idea what's going on start throwing all of this shit at bands. The music scene as a whole would be so much better if people would stop being selfish about what they want and just be happy for these bands when something like this happens. Because again, this is huge, man. The fact that a band like Lorna Shore is going to be on an arena tour playing with these bands is a massive moment for extreme music. This is something that should be remembered because, again, it is a huge deal. So hopefully some people got some enjoyment about hearing me bitch for quite a few minutes. And if there's anything else about the music industry or situations like this that you guys would like to know about that I didn't really clear up or answer or anything like that, drop them in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them to the best of my knowledge. As always, you guys know how to like and subscribe and use YouTube and all that stuff, so I'm not going to waste my time on it. But my handle on everything on social media is @TankTheTech. Thank you guys very much for watching this. I do appreciate it, and I will be back very soon.